Hi everyone, welcome to the workshop. Thanks for joining us again for another video. Bad news, I feel really ill. I'm really bunged up. I've got a headache all weekend. I've had a busy weekend and I think I've got man flu. But you're still going to get a video. I'm determined. It's Monday now. I'm actually heading down to the repair shop this evening to work for the week. But since we're doing so well with the bus, now with the fuel gauge since the last episode, I thought we're on a bit of a roll. Let's stick with the bus for one more week. We've sorted it mechanically. It seems to be okay. Touch wood, touch wood. Since we are pretty good mechanically, let's make it look a bit better. I've had the bus for a long time, and ever since I've had it, I've always had this vision of the Ranalah logo on the side, like it's an old workshop truck that Ranalah would have used to ferry their parts and bits and bobs around. Not the wheeling machines, obviously. It's quite a coincidence, actually, because I've got some old archive pictures of the Ranalah trucks that used to go around Brighton. Whilst a bit later, whilst it was a Brighton sheet metal, all along the Brighton seafront, there used to be trucks going back and forwards once they did gates and all sorts of things like that. So, and they actually had VWs as well. So it's quite fitting. As you may have guessed, we are going to be signwriting the bus in this episode, and I'm very, very excited about it. I did put a poll on my Instagram because I could not decide whether we should have the script sideways, the diagonal, straight. Honestly, I've been looking at it for a long, long time, and I've sort of whittled it down to those two, and I was like, oh, you know what, I kind of love both. And you'll find out, I guess, later which one I've gone for. But thank you to everybody that commented and helped and put your opinion in there. I hope I've gone for the right one. Obviously, the results were pretty much 50-50. So I'm going to be upsetting 50% of you. And I'm sorry about that, but I had to make a decision. I've slept on it, and this is what I've gone for. Now, although I enjoy doing signwriting, I really, especially days like today when I'm feeling rough, it's just quite nice to have a nice calm day sitting painting. I would not call myself a sign writer. Someone like Joby Carter, who taught me, is an absolute master, and he would just be able to go out there with his China graph pencil and draw all of this on the side of the bus. I am a bit of a phony. I cannot do that. But to be fair, this is a logo, and I've got to do both sides of the bus, so I feel like having a template is maybe slightly more legal now, but I have used my computer file that I've got of the logo to create that template, which I know is highly illegal in Joby's books. But I'm not Joby Carter, and I'm not as good as him. So I've had to use the computer to give me my paper template, which I've sort of got a little line. I've stuck all the pieces together because I've only got an A4 printer. That took a while. Sticking all those together, got it to the right size. Now I just need to go outside, and I'm just going to tape it onto the side of the bus. The bus is filthy. It's really dusty. There's bird poo on it. There's all sorts of stuff on it. I'm not going to clean it because I want this signwriting to look old. The rest of the paint is ratty and old. The bus is ratty. I don't want to just go and paint on it brand new signwriting. So I'm using the dirt and the bits there to hope that the paint doesn't stick everywhere. Hopefully in some places, to be honest. Maybe I'll clean a few areas. I want it to look worn. I'll probably be using a very dry brush, and I'm a little bit worried at the moment about how I'm going to achieve it, because my biggest fear is that it just looks like a sort of old patina, sort of like ratty old bus, and then brand new signwriting stuck on the side. It would look awful, and I'd ruin it. So I do need to tread a bit carefully, but I reckon we can do it. I'll talk you through. I'll take you through the whole process with me. Let's see if we can at least get Ranalah painted on the side and looking a bit old. By scribbling over the back of the paper with charcoal, I'll then draw back over it with a sharp pencil, and that will work as kind of carbon paper to transfer the pieces of charcoal onto the side of the bus. It will be very faint, and I will have to kind of make sense of it all and redraw it, but it just gives me a bit of a starting point to make sure that the key elements are in the right place. Let's take this off. Hopefully we've got a bit of a faint line. It's very faint. Hopefully you can see it, but I mean, I can, which is, is what counts, I guess. But there is enough of a line there. I'm confident there's enough there that I can actually start mixing up some paint. A few of you have commented saying I should let you all know that it's absolutely free to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already because you're worried that you have to pay for the subscription, you don't. As long as you've got a YouTube account, which is also free, you can just hit the subscribe button, then you'll get notified every time there's a video out or some new exciting thing happening. So please show your support for the channel, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Now let's get my paintbrushes and start painting. Literally just about to start painting. Brought the camera out, starts raining. Can you believe it? Honestly. You probably noticed whilst I'm painting it, it looks really messy. I've got a really dry brush at times, a really wet brush at times. It's all over the place. All I'm really concentrating on is where the brush strokes are. There's certain points where you always would start a letter. So you dip the brush, get a big good build up of paint on the brush, and then start the letter, you know, like an L. You'd start at the top and work your way down. I'm trying to make this sign look old, so as it would worn, there would be more paint at the start of the top of the L than there would be at the bottom. I'm trying to make this sign look old and weathered, but in a sensible way, in a realistic way, how it would have been painted. So I'm painting it as like a, you know, traditional sign painter would. So those areas where you start with the brush stroke are always, they've always got more paint. So it's always like when you see some genuine, like real old ghost signs, the borders of the letters, the edges you see have got a build up of paint. There's always that little sort of fat bit of paint at the edge of the letter. That's just how it goes. And then in the middle, you tend to kind of just sort of fill in the middle. So that's always a bit thinner and that wears more. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. I don't know if it makes sense at all. I'm trying to paint this lettering on the side of the bus in a way that I can rub it back off afterwards, and it would, as if I'm speeding up the time of just wear and tear, basically. Also, the side of this bus has been shot at some point with a shotgun or something, and so there's loads of areas where there's no blue paint. So I'm making sure that I don't put any white paint on top of that, because if this was painted prior to it being shot, anywhere where there's rusty bits, where the paint's gone, there would not be any sign painting because it's on top of the blue. So it's all about thinking about the layers. Before that paint dries and goes hard, I'm gonna mess around with some pigments. I've got some brown dyes and pigments, some matte varnishes and stuff like that to try and sort of rub over the top, dirty it down a little bit. The paint gets to a point where it's kind of tacky, and if I rub over it, it just sort of takes it off. So I don't have to end up polishing it. I can just actually rub the paint off. Got to catch it at a critical time though, which I think is about now. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah.
I thought it's about time I painted the logo on it.
Just going to go over it.
Huh?
Just going to go over that.
No, I just painted this on.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, just making it look like that.
I'm making it look like it's been on there for a while.
Yeah.
Trying anyway.
Years.
Yeah. Like the rest of it.
Yeah, that's good.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is one thing that I really wish I was better at. Joby or any really good sign writers would just be able to sit there, a few ruler marks to get some horizontal lines, and just sit and draw all of that lettering freehand. I learned with Joby, he showed me how to do it. I just haven't had the time to sit and sort of hone in the skills to actually get everything just right. So I've cheated again. I've used my computer and I've traced it on there, which I'm not proud about. And I'm sorry to everybody watching that knows better. I know better. Joby, if you're watching, I'm really sorry. But there's a note here, a lesson here for everybody. If you want to learn traditional sign writing like this, and to be able to just sit in front of a car or a sign and just draw lettering freehand, book yourself on to a course with Joby Carter. Put a link below in the description for his website. He is the man. He's been doing it all of his life. He's so good. And every time I do this and cheat with the computer, I feel bad. I do. I really feel bad. But I wish I had more time to sit and play and learn and practice. But hey, for now, I'm cheating. Just our little secret. Don't tell anyone. Especially if you see Joby. Don't tell Joby. It's 6:15. I've finished painting this side. I cannot believe it's taken me this long. I think I'm quite slow. I think Joby would have thrown that up there in no time at all. But I'm quite pleased. It looks good. I've rubbed a few bits off. I'm going to carry on working on it. I'm going to let that dry now. And then next week, whenever I can, I'll come back and maybe I'll do a few little bit more bits with the pigments. I'm going to just see how it sort of sets in ages. And once it's a bit dirty and a bit dusty, I think it's going to look the part. But I'm quite chuffed. The paints that I'm using are oil-based. So where there was a raindrop running down, I painted over it and it didn't mix with the water. It just kind of sat there. And then as I've wiped it off afterwards, it's actually chunks have sort of lifted off. So the water did actually help quite a bit. I might actually use that technique later in the future if I'm distressing an old sign. Little spritz of water before the oil-based paint, you know, we might have learned a little happy accident here. On the Ranalah plaques on the machines, it says the Ranalah wheeling machine. And I think that would look really nice on that rear tailgate. Then I've got to do this again on the other side. Then the only other debate is whether I should put a Ranalah in block letters, which is something they did. Some of their advertising's got just Ranalah in block letters. On the front, it may be up there on the roof, Ranalah in a slight curve, or below the window screen. I can't decide that. I really can't decide. And I haven't got anything on the door, and I kind of like it without anything on the door. But I would love to hear your comments. The rest of the bus, other than the other side, is completely up for grabs. If anybody has a good idea, put it in the comments. I will read them all. I'm looking for inspiration. What else should we do? Something on the door? Maybe on the bumpers? Ooh. Anyway, I need to get going because I've got to get to the repair shop and I've got a long drive ahead of me with a headache. Leave me a comment below, any feedback on the bus. Make sure you're subscribed. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.